Welcome to the podcast, a non judgmental space, a space where you don't have to agree, just reflect. And today I'm really happy to say, welcome, Azra ma'am. Thank you so much for being here with us.
It's always a surprise, a pleasant surprise, a pleasure to be with you now again after a long period of time.
Families are the first social institutions we are born into, before schools, before offices, before society tell us who to be. For generations, family roles have been very clearly defined. Men were expected to provide, women were expected to care, and children simply absorbed what they saw. But today, something is shifting. Women are stepping into leadership roles, men are embracing caregiving and emotional presence, and children are growing up with a more flexible understanding of responsibility and identity. That's what we are exploring today. How changing gender roles inside families are reshaping relationships, mental health, and society. Azra ma'am, I would love to start with you. From your experience, how have you seen family role patterns change over the years, especially around gender expectations?
Thank you. This is one topic which is very interesting and relevant, I feel, in the present scenario, and it was there also. See, it depends upon the family, the type of person you are. The family structure, whether it's a nuclear family or a joint family, and there is always, a variable which is individual variable. No, the person who is his own personality, and also beautifully, I would see her. She was taking care of us, providing tiffin and all, and cooking food, and also doing the role of the work which she was doing, and dedication and committed to the work was there. Of course, a lot of sharing was done by the family also. Father, she was a house head for other purposes, and the role of the father and the male were also, it was very democratic and very helping, sharing and cooperative at that time. And the
Right.
issue was never emerged because I saw them working, and I knew that how to, because we have learned by emulating the behavior, the modeling. When I grew up, it was also there in my mind. Okay, so I'll do the work, and work is, it's you're doing out of love, with what intention you're working. If I'm feeding, I can have cook, I can cook food for my family. But if I love to do something for my family along with my work, it's your choice. So what matters is, how do you perceive the responsibility, the work that you are doing? But yes, if the same thing is, if it's a pressure on her, I could have imagined. No one put pressure on her. Father always used to say, yeah, you can have a cook and do it. Why are you, I mean, unnecessarily putting pressure on you? But she said, no, I'd love to cook. I want to cook food for my children. I want to make, and she was fond of making dishes and other things.
Right.
So it depends, doesn't depend upon, any responsibility or duty, is not a sense of no pressure, when you, it is your choice. So it's a matter of choice. But see, now I see, people say that we are progressing, we are developing, and I see is there is a lot of gender issues regarding to now, in after my generation. Even when I was doing, thought never came to mind, but I see now people are making it an issue, and others also, they are so scared. There's so much of fear and anxiety among people generally when they talk to me. Okay, so this girl is working, so how will she take care of my? There are some families still in our country, fortunately or unfortunately, are concerned about their son. They are also threatened by the fact that the girl is, nowadays they are very, independent, and they are questioning. So the fear of, the losing things, and losing the control. So I think the very term control is creating also a lot of problems, because
Right.
somewhere we try to, when there is no control, the responsibility, the sense of responsibility comes from inside, and it comes out of your own sensitivity to the, for everyone around you, and it comes naturally, flows. But when you are putting control, even if I've seen that in the upbringing of my children, I never put pressure on them. There's certain things which we do together. They have learned by doing it. So sometimes, of course, they are when they're at home, they are free. So they wake up late at 11, 12, or maybe later. But when there is a situation I've seen, when they're working, they're going to the office. Some of them are working. So they don't have to put an alarm for that. They will just get up and do the work, which is morning 7 or 6 or 8. So it thing is, How do you perceive it? How do you perceive your work? Do you really love the work? This barrier in any relationship, it's the sense of fear, insecurity, and lack of love.
I absolutely understand where this is coming from. Historically, men were seen as breadwinners, decision makers, authority figures. Women were expected to be the nurturers, homemakers, and emotional anchors. Emotional expression in men was discouraged, and women's aspirations beyond family were often restricted. These roles gave structure, but they also there was emotional suppression, inequality, and burnout. Azra ma'am, do you feel these traditionals' role affected emotional well-being within the families?
Of course, it does affect, because what I'm talking was not the true representative of the whole of the country. I have been counseling and I've been in touch with some people who it has affected their mental health. Recently, there was a case I met, a lady who was a young lady, was the daughter-in-law, and she was doing her job, and she had to online sit from morning 8 to 10 for the first shift of the work that she was doing. And that was the time where normally the cooking happens in the families. And whenever she used to go to the kitchen, she was under guilt that this is the time and I'm not cooked, my mother-in-law is cooking. She was so much under pressure. See, the husband was supporting I think the young generation has come up, the men are very supportive, they're taking care of the kids, they're also helping their wives in the kitchen. The women in the family were passing remarks on her. I'm not exactly saying. And she was even not putting pressure. Then also she was under guilt. She tried to commit self-harm herself and took sleeping pills, number of sleeping pills, and she was hospitalized. To that extent, her mental health was affected. Because, and her mother also was saying the same thing. To her surprise and shock, because she was wanted to share this with her mother, and the mother also said, "Oh no." So her responsibility is equally important. We are not blaming anyone. We are not seeing. The question is, if the mother-in-law is saying, people usually put it under one head, mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. When I researched, I did talk to the other members of the family and did the psychoeducation with them. I found out that their culture is, no matter how rich you are, cooking has to be done by the mother, by the ladies. They would not have a cook from outside. But yes, this is one of the things. This is we are developing, we are progressing. If you want to understand this problem, we have to understand it at a deeper level, being sensitive to each member of the family. It's very easy to blame the mother-in-law or the father-in-law or the culture, but try to find out the reason behind it. Then only we
Right,
will be able to bring about that awareness where we can understand each
absolutely.
other.
Also, this reminds me of an example. I can't recall the movie name, but I know Sanya Malhotra was the lead in that movie, and wherein her father-in-law always had this expectations कि मेरे को हरी चटनी सिलबट्टे पे ही खानी है. I can't have the one from mixer.
Uh-huh.
So there were certain things, and yeah, I can totally relate and recall this movie from this example. But somewhere down the line, I feel it is also sad, not that people don't tend to understand, because these days, I mean, if we go back a little earlier, the working conditions were a lot more different, whether it comes to pressure or now everything you do while you're working in a corporate company is monitored second by second. So that kind of tends to be developing a pressure. So I feel they need to progress a little, but I don't understand. Maybe as every family, and I'm not generalizing this to everybody, but maybe that because of the taste preference, they don't want to hire a cook, or I don't know. Few people have it. I have
See,
seen it with in my own vicinity.
see,
Also, ma'am,
hiring a cook.
yeah, please tell me.
No, no. These things are immaterial if there's no understanding and there's lack of faith. Whether you have a cook or you do not have a cook, I've seen some of the families in COVID, there was no house help inside the home. But they were working together, gardening, doing little work, the work was shared. So the feeling of love, sharing, and caring is far more important than anything. There are two type of elders, parents. Some of the parents are genuinely concerned if they love their son. They want that if he's not taken care of by the wife, we will not take care of the children. What will happen to my son? This is one concern. I will not call it ingenuine. It's a genuine concern. Another is because of suddenly you see someone in your family, because you as a daughter-in-law was very submissive, and the mother, other family members were
Yeah.
put in a role of authority. Suddenly, a person has come in the family who's too bold and independent and something that also causes insecurity. This thing is there. Then, because now the women are financially independent, so there is insecurity, there is comparison at the level of, men and wife and husband. And the women who used to do out of love and compassion for their family, now it is changed by insecurity and anxiety. And the young ladies, girls are also threatened. They don't want to be say that when the thought of marriage is coming, they are under pressure. They do not agree. They don't want to marry because I want to be sure about it, whether what will happen after the marriage. So they were going for live-in relationships and to see what will happen and what if the person changes. Now he is good. I don't know how will he behave. So I see that when there is insecurity, there is lack of trust and faith. How do you expect love to happen? How do you expect harmony to happen when there is lack of understanding and lack of love? Fear, no creativity can happen in fear, and relationship cannot survive.
Touch wood, I am much more lucky in this aspect because my parents have given me that independent life or have taught me because I was in a boarding school and all. Even if I am alone, they are not worried if somebody can cook for my son or somebody can
Mhm.
falana dhimkana, anything. Like they know that he can make his own bed, he can make his own coffee, he can have his own food. So today we see dual income households, shared responsibilities, men actively involved in childcare, women balancing careers and families, and many non-traditional family structures. Change sounds positive, right? Like, but it also brings confusion. What do you think has been the biggest emotional adjustment families are struggling with today?
The biggest emotional adjustment is, I think the first is relationship with oneself. How do I perceive the change that has happened, the transition of, because nothing is permanent, things are changing. So this role is changing, my role is changing. The atmosphere, the younger generation seeking more democratic behavior and more their choice in making decisions and participation in everything that is happening. The hierarchy seems to disappear now in the families, and there was decision making. The power was more centralized, so now it's diffusion of power. So all that is perceived, it all depends upon the perception. And this is the emotional adjustment they are making is, earlier submission was considered as a normal behavior by all.
Right.
Even men were more submissive. If their wives were, some of the families where there were conflict between their mother and their, they do not interfere in between. So this is not my business. You don't need to talk about it. Now men are also become more confident and vocal, and they also question. No, this is they ask their parents. It's not that it is perceived as if this we never used to question our parents. See, this son is talking, defending his wife, and earlier it was considered that. So yeah, these two things are also there, and there is also suddenly, because of that fear and other things, the young generation is also too scared. Instead of looking at this relationship as, so this adjustment, emotional adjustment, is everyone is going through the phase of adjustment. It can be maladjustment on the part of everyone, be it father-in-law, mother-in-law, or mother and the bride and the husband and the wife, and of course the children who are also getting affected. But there are families, it depends upon you. If you are perceiving it as a normal thing, to do what humanitarian says. Don't think he
Right.
is your father or he is your mother-in-law, and you also, you are not. Your parents have no expectation, so their parents should not so have expectation. See, what does humanity say? If any relative, leave aside, is your relative or your father's husband's relative is not well, this needs to be taken care of, and your husband is the only son. Do you think he should be left on his own with attendant? What do you think we should do?
Absolutely.
Then said, no, of course I should take care. Because basically every human being is good, according to humanist psychologists. Only thing is, somewhere we are confused, we are not able to connect with us because of the emotional barriers. So the mind doesn't know what to do. Listen to what humanity says, not
Right.
what in the beyond the feminism and other kind of. I'm not disrespecting any views. These views are also progressive and independent. But I think the humanitarian approach is above all.
Absolutely, I totally agree. Um, Ma'am, also for many women, changing roles bring independence and confidence, but also guilt, overload, and pressure to do it all in your work? As how do women usually express this internal conflict?
Is also considered as a normal thing, even to extent of violence. So other things are there. The thing is, and as you have raised a very valuable thing that some of your friend has said that yeah, I'm a BVK passive. So see, it's not only money that is needed to serve and the family, money is just one factor. Earlier women were not earning. Most of the families, women were not earning, but their contribution was much more than, there's no money can replace that. No money can, it is invaluable. That service was
Right,
invaluable. Similarly, if a father, why do we perceive, again, we talk about being progressive. Why are we not progressive about men also? If a person loves to cook, if a person loves to take care of,
right. Yeah,
why do
yes,
we take it as something? It is not इसकी मर्द नहीं है, मतलब something related to the male. If this can be very threatening to many of us, even for men, even for women.
right.
Why
I'm
is it?
also men today are opening up emotionally,
Yes,
bonding deeper with their families, but many
right.
also experience identity confusion and social judgment. Why do you think emotional expression is still so difficult for men?
Yeah, emotional expression. Men feel they are. We learn by observation. One thing I feel is we seen in our families. Of course, we observe there, and then there is one individual personality also. We do not express because we have not seen that kind of expression showing of love in our families. Sometimes, so it has been a culture that man is the authority, is the bread earner. And I met a father. His daughter is in the fourth year medicine. She's a doctor, and she's in a very good career, a nice personality also. But the girl is suffering from acute inferiority complex, which I was helping her to come out to become more assertive. The reason was that I found out the father also said, I never compliment, I never enforce because बच्चे सर पे बैठ जाएंगे. He's coming from
Right,
humble background. The children were very intelligent, so both the children did very well in their studies. So this kind of belief, the conditioning in some of the areas of our country, unfortunately or fortunately, and where is this springing come up? Because it's very easy to blame and judge. Why is there so much of fear that things will go out of my control? If I do this, this will happen. The preconceived notions, the belief
right.
is still prevailing. And emotional availability, I think it should come free and spontaneously from a part of a person. So some of things is this: if you will not receive love, how will you express yourself?
Right.
It is not happening due to fear or because of some kind of uncertainty. Even women and male also come and say that I'm not able to express my feelings because I'm not confident what will happen. So they are not confident. It shows that they are very strong, and they're but inside they are not as soft. To become soft, you need to have courage to become soft. Otherwise, you are fearful, and to hide your fear, you show that you are an authoritative figure. You understand?
Yeah, and you become a quite aggressive.
You're
I
quite
have
aggressive also.
Yes, I have seen this a lot of times where also men feel it difficult because maybe they have never experienced or maybe they have never been treated that way that they are safe to share or to
Right.
express what they feel. So I feel once, irrespective of whether you come from a family or you are their friends or anything, I feel as a friend or as a family, it is your responsibility, not just responsibility but also your thing to just make a comfortable space so that any men in your life or in and around your vicinity feels safe to just express themselves.
Absolutely.
Also, children growing up in more equal households often show healthier emotional development and less gender stereotyping. What role do parents play in modeling gender equality without even realizing it?
Yeah. And it's not just, because women are working or developing. It's also because the one thing which is universal, every time, whether it's no intergeneration gap is there, is the respect. If you respect your wife, be if she is working or not, or you respect your husband, why only wife? If the
Yeah,
husband is also feeling respected, his decisions are you giving importance to his decisions, and for healthy growth and development of a child. I've seen there are people, women who are good homemakers, and even they were not educated, and even now till I see this. And then also the children are very confident because they've seen their father inviting the wife for every decision he is taking for the family. and she feels
Right.
respected, she's happy. So that happiness brings about a positive aura in the house. Children also feel respected if the mother and father respect each other. And it is nothing to do with any generation. This is one value which is universal for every time,
Right.
every age stage.
I feel like the equal opportunity or just letting them be themselves rather
Yes.
than having a space, at least at home, that you are judging your children, anybody in the family. I feel I have learned this very early in my life to just let them be who they want to be. At least I feel the home that they come back to should be very, a much more safer space than what is it outside the world. So I feel allowing them to be themselves and giving that so-called their own space to do what they want and to explore, it gives this kind of children. It brings up this kind of qualities in the children. Also, ma'am, when families change, societies change too, right? Workplaces become inclusive, relationships become partnerships, and emotional awareness improves, but resistance is also real. Why do you think change creates so much discomfort even when it's healthy?
Why the change creates discomfort, even if it's unhealthy? Because we don't want to come out of our comfort zone. To out to come coming out of your comfort zone and accept others as they are and stay with what is requires a lot of courage. Staying with what is happening is not, maybe we not agree to certain things, but we still can we be have a very, with the same compassion, with same love, can we look at it at that? And it's not threatening, not perceive it as a threat, but we
Right,
perceive it as a challenge. And when there is love, I think you don't need anything, because we do accept change when it's for children. We do certain things, we do accept because for their happiness we accept so many things. So if we see the child, if we see that my son is happy, if we see my daughter is happy, and this change has brought happiness in her life, and it's not harming anyone, only thing is because it's not happening according to my way of living. How do
uh,
I perceive it? It's going beyond the self. It's only important, and it's again universal. And for every stage of life, if you're going beyond the self and you're thinking about others' happiness equally as you think about yours, it also
right,
enhances in this environment, the fortitude and resilience is also enhanced. I mean, the children's and you also, it's good for your health, because the more negativity you carry, the more accumulate the negative energy, you are going to get affected. You will suffer from psychological problems. You have your own, things which are beyond, no one can make you think. The key is with you. You
right,
have to understand
absolutely.
this.
Cultural expectations, patriarchy, lack of communication, and social judgment still hold many
Right,
families back.
right.
Kuch to log kahenge.
Mhm.
That comes
Right.
in behind everything. So, in your opinion, what's the first conversations couples should have when navigating changing roles?
The first conversation we had at the beginning of marriage and our premarital counseling is just live in present and give each other space, see what is happening instead of thinking from any preconceived notion. Many people will give you suggestion. It comes so easy from so many people, from a girl side and the male side. Do this. This is good for you. This. Don't do this. Don't try this. Don't. So all that, listening to all that, go on your own instincts. See your thing. Believe, and love has also say that, okay, I respect you for what you are, and this respect is very, and not only by saying. It should, no, it's like a silent power, something which is reflected in your conduct, your behavior. You're giving a space to others. If someone is doing some work for you, you acknowledge. One thing I feel is very important is a sense of gratitude, sense of acknowledgement. This word looks like wonder. I think if you have a gratitude for your family members, whoever has done, if the mother-in-law has cooked the food for you, something for you, you go and just hug and say, thank you. That means a lot. She will not expect more than that. She loves to cook. But if a daughter-in-law goes and just hugs the mother-in-law, oh, wonder how good you are. I want to learn from you. She feels recognized, which maybe she was not recognized during those years which she was working very hard, because it was considered as a part of her role. So little bit of
Right,
sensitivity and understanding is required from each one of us. If we are sensitive about others, not only we have, but if you have the fear, how will you love your mother-in-law? If you have the
right,
fear of the role, very role of that. Similarly, if you both, each one of you have, if you look at her, at okay, you respect that person as a person, not because he is your husband or a wife. I will recommend each one of you to see the movie Friend, Mitra. It is a
Hmm.
movie of is I think no 90s. Okay, it's a
Okay.
wonderful movie. I think each one should see because it's going beyond the role of a husband or wife. The movie tells about because it's a suspense. I think you should watch the movie because when you are caught up in the
Definitely.
desirable set of role relationships, we do not see the person beyond that image of a husband or a wife.
Right.
The person is much more than that, whom you think of. And the wife also sees that he always has this demand, he's patriarchic, and a lot of other things come. But when you go beyond that, look at him. So, friendship, we as a psychologist and modern psychology say is very important in any relationship, even in husband wife. If you are a good friend, if you're a good friend, if you unconditionally love each other, you're always available for each other. Even if it's a problem of a office, some people do not want to share. It's very, sometimes they do not know what is happening to you. And they think that, okay, why is he so aggressive? Suddenly, why is he not listening, doesn't want to eat food, and doesn't want to do anything? If you'll not tell, how will they know? How will you receive help? So it's
Right.
not something inappropriate to get help from your family. Obviously they are your family and you may have your differences and other things, but they are the one who will be with you. Trust is
Right.
very important. Trust in yourself, trust in that, I think, the divine power. I'm not that traditional and I do not believe in many rituals, but I believe that there is a power, and I believe in ourselves, and of course believe in each other, the humanity, that the person will listen to you and understand you.
Right. And also, ma'am, what I feel when we speak about the gratitude that you said, if for you just gave
Yeah.
an example, if your mother-in-law has cooked, you just say a thank you and maybe a hug. I feel these small things change your dynamics rather than being a daughter-in-law and mother-in-law. That somewhere down the line changes for a better understanding and builds a healthy relationship between you two, is what I
Yeah, because when in my classes with the students whom I'm teaching and teaching some of the MPhil students of clinical psychology. So one of some of them they asked about it. I give them the homework is of a different kind. I tell them to go. Sometimes they share about something about the families and the personal things. So I do another children also whom I'm doing the counseling and the people. So why don't you see that your father-in-law is fine with you, your mother-in-law you say that she's happy, looking happy, though she's nice, very responsible. Just
right.
ask your father-in-law to take her for a date. Do you have you done this?
Yeah.
I said, why can't you do go with outside with your husband? You leave your children for your. Why can't she go out for her? So if you do this kind of consideration, she will understand that there is someone who understands me. I know there are families. Some of my clients have shared the mother-in-law has never received money from her father. I mean husband, okay? In her
Hmm.
life, the people will get things for her. She was living in a good family. She had all kind of luxury. But the daughter-in-law asked her husband, give something to mommy every day, month. I think she also needs some money to. And she cried literally when he gave her. She cried that no one ever has given me. So there are families like this also.
This isn't about replacing one another's role. It's about partnership over power, sharing over sacrificing, respect over rigid roles. What does a balanced family dynamic truly look like to you?
Again, it's also subjective, but something which I feel is important for a balanced family is every one's views, the respect of diversity is there.
Right.
It's not that we all want everyone to have one thing, and we obey or conform to one type of policy or decisions. But each and every individual's opinion and decision is respected. Understanding is there's mutual understanding, sensitivity, and acceptance not only to the strengths but also to the limitations and flaws of the members. And at the adverse side, there will be fights, there will be differences. We cannot deny that it's a very goody goody family is that never fight. All loving people do fight. Fight is also a color of love, argument, disagreement. But there's difference between disagreement and opposition. Okay,
Right.
you disagreement, there is opposition. But in a ideal family is the one that when there are challenges in the family in terms of adversity of any kind, they stand together for each other.
When roles change, relationships are tested, but they are also dependent. The modern family isn't perfect, but it is evolving toward balance, dignity, and shared humanity. True equality doesn't begin in policies or workplaces, it begins in home. And as we step into this new season with Resonate Wellness, we want to remind you this podcast is a non judgmental space, a place to reflect, unlearn, and grow without shame. Thank you, Azra ma'am, for sharing your insight with us today.
Thank you so much, Ankush. I also feel a lot of things have come out, and it was a good experience for me, very enriching. Your questions were very pertinent. Thank you,
Thank
Ankush.
you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you to everyone listening. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Thank you.